Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to discuss an issue surrounding the commentary that has been raised with regard to the Ron Paul campaign that has frustrated me quite considerably. This video is motivated by a comment made by a user on my previous video, quote, "I will not vote for an evil person who is against evolution." The reference, of course, is to Dr. Ron Paul. How he could be considered an evil person, I do not know. The poster did not provide any kind of evidence or support. Does the poster think that he is evil for being, quote, against evolution? If so, then I would refer him to my video, True and False, Right and Wrong, and Good and Evil. That video discusses the distinction between holding a false idea, committing a wrong action, and being an evil person. Clearly, even if Ron Paul had held a very false belief, that does not make him immoral or evil in any sense of the word. And if the poster meant that Ron Paul was evil in some other way, he certainly didn't substantiate his claim, so I'm not going to even give it the dignity of being discussed any further. Now, another great fallacy with that statement is that it was alleged that Ron Paul was, quote, against evolution. Now, this is just like religious fundamentalists accusing atheists of being against God. Well, no, atheists are not against God. Atheists do not hate God. Atheists do not believe that God exists. So likewise, those who do not believe in the theory of evolution are not against evolution. They don't agree with the existence of evolution. Now, I am an atheist, a materialist, and a rationalist. I believe that evolution has happened and continues to happen. Indeed, unless one considers all life forms to have been created ex nihilo in their present state, evolution is the only logical alternative. The scientific evidence for evolution is clearly overwhelming, and without evolution one cannot make very much sense at all of modern biology. So, Ron Paul is skeptical of evolution. I believe that the case for evolution has been demonstrated solidly for over a century. But does this difference of positions really matter in the political scene? Think about this. You have probably gone to many restaurants where you have been waited on by a creationist, someone who does not believe in the theory of evolution, somebody who, like a large segment of the American population, according to some surveys, the majority of the American population, does not consider evolution to be a valid theory. Now, this person may be wrong, this person may be scientifically ignorant, but does that make that person a bad waiter? Likewise, you have probably gone to repair your vehicle in a shop where perhaps some of the mechanics working there were creationists. Does that make them bad mechanics? What if they really know how to fix your car? Does their degree of scientific understanding or lack thereof really have a bearing on whether you should patronize them as mechanics? I don't think so, and I don't believe a reasonable person would think so either. Now, let's take Ron Paul. What position is he running for? Is he running for the head of a biological research laboratory? Is he running for some kind of popularity contest as to the best theoretical biologist of all time? Is he even trying to set up some sort of museum of natural history? No, he is running for President of the United States. That is a political post. It is part of the U.S. executive branch. He has the task of safeguarding the U.S. Constitution. And as someone who believes firmly in the need to uphold the US Constitution, which is an important guardian of the rights of the American people against what could otherwise be and has been a highly intrusive federal government, Dr. Paul recognizes the limits of what he may or may not do as president. Indeed, he has made numerous statements that his views on evolution are quite irrelevant to how he would behave in office. He is a strict constructionist of the US Constitution. Indeed, he does not believe that the Constitution gives the federal government any power over education in the first place. So, with regard to the controversy of what should be taught in the schools, should it be evolution only or some mix of evolution and creationism, or creationism under the name of intelligent design? Ron Paul's position is the federal government doesn't have the power to decide those questions. They are outside of his purview. Whatever he personally believes is not relevant to his role as president, just as it would not be relevant if he were a car mechanic or a waiter at a restaurant. And it seems that a politician ought to be judged not on miscellaneous views that he holds, but rather on policy and what sorts of policies he would be willing to implement when he is elected to office. Now, clearly, a lot of individuals who rightly embrace the theory of evolution will be very frustrated at those religious fundamentalists who believe that a necessary criterion for the office of president is that one must be a Christian. The Constitution indeed prohibits such a religious test for office, but unfortunately in US politics it has become a de facto test for office in public opinion. And this is terrible. But isn't the holding of a candidate up to the standard that the candidate must agree with the theory of evolution the same kind of extraneous test for office that has nothing to do with the candidate's policies? If Ron Paul were himself the kind of hardline theoconservative who believed that his personal religious views ought to be reflected in the public sphere, then yes, his disbelief in evolution would be a concern, but it would be the least of a large array of concerns. However, Ron Paul firmly believes in the limits that the Constitution places on federal power, and he does not believe that federal power has any role in deciding what is taught in the schools. So why is the subject of evolution even relevant? I think it really is quite a bit of a straw man erected by the left liberal opponents of Ron Paul, who attempt to discredit him in this way and prevent certain left liberals who would otherwise be sympathetic to him from actually supporting him. Because, look, he has a better record than Obama on civil liberties, he has a better record than Obama on ordinary consumers' rights in the US economy, he has a better record than Obama on foreign policy. So what can the left liberal establishment use to discredit Ron Paul? Well, they could say he's scientifically ignorant because he rejects the theory of evolution. Well, even if he does reject the theory of evolution to the degree that he is accused of, it doesn't matter. And that, I think, is something that must be emphasized time and again when that particular criticism is leveled against Dr. Paul.